Bill has time for him.
All right, Patrick Rooney here. Sorry for the miscue. Hey, they happen. This is a live video, man. Welcome to the old school live stream. We're going to have a special show tonight. It's always a special show, right? I'm going to have my son on here, Paul, and he's the only guest today, so that's going to be fun talking to him. And we're going to talk about a couple of interesting characters who are in the news. And we can see the turn this down, right? I can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, can't I? All right. So we're going to talk about a couple of interesting characters in the news. And that is Elon Musk. Well, first we're going to talk about Mike Tyson. He's been in the news. And I want to talk about something that isn't talked about much about Mike Tyson. And it needs to be discussed. And you're probably aware of the situation that happened with him on the airplane when a fan, I don't know if you want to call him a fan, but somebody got too crazy. And we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to discuss Elon Musk. And he is the favorite, I would call him the right's favorite transhumanist. And we're going to talk about Elon Musk today. But first, we're going to bring on Paul. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Good. And let me check on the comments here, see if we got anyone.
Yeah, the comments are on.
We have
no one
in the comments yet, so we'll see what happens here. Maybe a little bit early for folks. I really want to get into this idea of. Oh, by the way, Paul is. You guys know Paul if you've been in this live stream.
Yeah. I've been on the How to Pray those couple of streams. I hardly said anything, but I mean,
you said some stuff.
Yeah, at the end I said some stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, if you guys are in there, let me know if you're in there. I want to see if people are hearing us okay. And we're on time today. Come on, you can't go.
Yeah, we're on time for once.
Maybe they expected us to be late, so they said, "Well, I'll just tune in 5 minutes late." And
no, yeah, they probably thought like, "Oh, I'll just come in like 20 minutes later. You just be starting up."
Yeah, right. So anyway, if you're there, let us know. And but we're going to talk about these two guys. And now, first of all, I want to talk about Mike Tyson. You know Mike Tyson, right, Paul?
Yeah, the heavy champion.
Yeah. He was he's actually one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. He's not a very big guy. He's actually quite short. And I think he was under 200 pounds. I don't know.
Wait, how tall is he?
Pretty short, like 5'10" maybe at the most.
Oh, okay. He's your height.
Yeah, I get pretty short, my height. But I'm like 160 pounds, and he was probably, I don't know, over 200 pounds because he was like built like a fire plug.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to talk about him because he is a guy who has been very troubled in his life. And he's had a lot of, if anyone who's followed his career, he bit the ear off of Evander Holyfield during a boxing match they were having. I remember watching.
Oh, yeah, you told me, but yeah.
I was watching that fight, and they got close. Like boxers will sometimes fight, and they'll get real close to each other. And then when they were real close, he went over and leaned over and bit the guy's ear and took a chunk off of Evander Holyfield's ear.
Martin's here, by the way. Sergeant Francis.
How do we know?
Hello, Sergeant. He's in the comments.
Oh, there he is. Martin here in audio video is excellent. Good, Martin, because or Sergeant Francis, excuse me. You got to get the real title here. I was a little concerned going in because we had some stuff that didn't seem like it was going up the way it was, and I was having that pre-show panic thing. You know how that goes. But thankfully, it sounds like the audio and the video are good right now. So thank God for that. So Mike Tyson also was married to Robin Gibbons, I believe her name is, and she was like a really high profile kind of woman. I mean, she was high profile, but I would call her high maintenance. You know what a high maintenance woman is, Paul?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, like someone, like kind of like not snobbish, but like, like those spoiled. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I just don't know how to put it into words, but like, those kind of bratty or
Yeah,
you know, people that require attention, I guess.
Yeah, they require a lot of attention. Very narcissistic. But so she was very famous, and I forgot what show she used to be in, but she did a lot of movie and TV. Paul said that Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear off.
Mark?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sergeant Francis said that Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off twice.
How do you do that twice? Like one on each side? Like
it's like an ear of corn or something. What is that? But anyway, he had a troubled life, and he had kind of a public breakup with her on TV. I mean, she did an interview one time and really embarrassed him on TV. Just dragged him through. Really embarrassed the guy. And in later years, in my opinion, Mike Tyson, I like Mike Tyson. He's very honest, I think. Much more honest than probably 95, 99% of probably the stars that are out there.
Yeah, he seemed like it. Yeah. I know he was in like those Chinese propaganda movies, Ip Man 3.
Oh, he was in
he probably was. I don't see him as like kind of like one of those guys that like kisses up to China, but I know he was in there, so I don't think he's like one of those propaganda guys. I think he was just in there just to, you know, whatever.
China's everywhere, man.
Yeah.
China's everywhere. Everyone's associated with China now. We're going to get to that later too. But the thing about Mike Tyson, he's always had issues, and I know that he has wanted to overcome the rage that's inside of him. And he started off very young with a lot of rage. And he had a manager named Customato who took Mike Tyson, and old guy, like an old.
Yeah, I think I saw that documentary.
Talk about old school. Customato was really old school. And he would take him and train him the way they used to train the old fighters like Jack Dempsey and Joe Louis and these guys. Take them away to like the Catskill Mountains where they just train on their own. No sex, no drinking, no smoking, no late hours. You know, just fine tune them. And he really appreciated Customato because he didn't have a father figure, I guess. I don't know what the situation, if somebody knows, they can tell me, but I don't know the situation with Mike Tyson's father. I don't know if he ever knew his father or what the situation was with his father. I'm not aware of that at all. So I'd like to know that. But my impression of Mike Tyson is that he has wanted to overcome the inner beast, let's call it, that's inside him. He forgot to eat breakfast.
Oh, yeah, Fabian.
Hey. Oh, brother. Hey, Fabian. Fabian
forgot to eat
breakfast. That's why he's eating.
Oh, I get it.
That's why he's eating the
That's funny.
All right.
That joke went over my head.
Oh, yeah. But what was I saying about Mike Tyson? But he wanted to overcome this inner demon or demons that were inside of him. And he didn't know how to do it. And what he's been doing of late, and probably for a while now, I know he's got a podcast. I think he's got a hot box, and I think it's called, with Mike Tyson. And it's probably a very good podcast because he's an honest man, right? That makes for a good podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
But I noticed that he smokes a lot of weed, or he promotes weed. In fact, when he was on the airplane going to Miami from San Francisco, we're going to show a little bit of this video in a minute here. He was, when he went to Miami, I believe it was for a weed conference, like a conference regarding promotion of smoking weed.
Oh, yeah, I remember you told me.
Unfortunately, a lot of places are making weed smoking legalized now, which is just going to take a bad culture and turn it, into the toilet, right? But they're doing it for money. They're trying to raise money. It's all about money. They're trying to raise. Governments are finding out that if they legalize it, now they can control it, and they can tax it and do all the things they do to regular businesses. And they don't care as long as they get their cut. So
like it makes you like slow. Like
now, Fabian, right? What's that?
Right?
What's that?
Like weed makes you like slow, right? Like it dulls your senses.
Well, weed is like I don't know. It just does different things to different people.
So like what kind of knows, like Mike Tyson, he's like, yeah, I got. He's like mellowed out. Like he's like,
yeah, it kind of they kind of joke about weed that it takes away your drive. So like if you want to work hard and get things done, don't smoke weed, right? It also can make you paranoid. It's hard a little bit to discuss on these shows stuff with you because of like but you know things. I told you stuff anyway. But I used to smoke weed when I was a teenager. I smoked a lot of dope actually at one point. It made me very kind of paranoid. And I would get out and try to drive, like smoking weed and stuff. And I'd be driving like in the rain. I'd get really scared. I'd be driving about 5 miles per hour in the rain, you know, and thinking I'm going to crash into somebody. And weed is something you don't want to mess with. It lowers your consciousness. I did a whole series on this on my blog, oldschoolus.com, called "Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Really Are the Gateway to Hell." I did 3 parts, and I talked extensively in there about what weed did to me in conjunction with rock and roll music and sex, and how all 3 work together to take my consciousness down. It's really fascinating, and I mean, it's unbelievable what it did. But you don't want to mess with weed. It's really bad for you. Makes you lazy, and in your head gives you the munchies. Yeah, it makes you really hungry too. So, you know, you like to eat pizza, Paul, and you know, just knock out a whole pizza, no problem, right?
Hey, you telling them my business? No,
yeah, I'm telling your business.
No, yeah.
You could probably eat 2.
Hey, I don't eat pizza that much, okay, guys?
You could eat 2 pizzas on a weed.
Oh.
You're like, oh, that'd be cool. No, it wouldn't be. You'd be over a toilet soon.
I'm surprised I could eat a whole pizza. Anyway, but yeah.
I know. I've done it too. It's crazy. You inherited my
bottomless pit.
I had a legendary appetite when I was growing up. I used to, you know, work out, do a lot of bodybuilding and stuff when I was young, and I could eat like a whole plate of pasta just piled up, like
without the weed.
What's that?
Yeah, I said without the weed.
Without the weed. Now imagine adding weed to that. All right.
Yeah.
Fabian said, I overdosed once on weed, beer, and angel dust. Woke up. Wow, I never tried angel dust. A friend of mine did, and he scared me with one of his stories. Woke up in the hospital. I didn't try hallucinogenics either because I was afraid to go off somewhere and never come back. So I didn't mess with any hallucinogens. At that point, I began to meditate and dropped all drugs. Yeah, I did too. I actually did too. That's what happened to me. I was going way off the deep end. I mean, I was going one direction in life. I had a lot of issues as a kid and stuff, but I was still kind of contained until I got to be about 18 or 19. But once I got into drugs, I went off the reservation so far and so fast that your head would spin. I mean, it took me like in the next 2 years, I was completely off the reservation. And then I had to start looking, like, how am I going to come back from that? That's when I started looking into meditation and all that stuff.
I didn't know.
Weed became not good enough to escape my troubled young life. Yeah, there's drugs like that what they do is when you first try them, they blow your mind. They get you like feeling a certain way, like cocaine or something. You'll feel like, wow, this is great. But that feeling you get the first time you take it never comes back again. And so you always have to take more of it to try to chase the same high that you were getting before. And it's really like a bad road. It never works. And it always takes you in a bad direction. And these days, it's super dangerous because the stuff, weed is much more powerful than it ever used to be. It's much more powerful than when I was smoking weed. And these other drugs are bad. You don't want to be in weird social situations now anyway. You want to have your wits about you in today's world all the time.
Especially now.
And you know, just spiritually speaking, people think we were watching something last night on LSD and how the CIA was involved in LSD and stuff. And LSD was brought out by the CIA. That's a real story. That's not a fake story. But LSD was one of those things that people took, and they were trying to say it was fine and everything. Timothy Leary and all these people, Grace Slick and the Jefferson Airplane, they were all trying to say how great it was. But it was really things that a lot of these people were taken off onto bad trips. And some of them never recovered. You have suicides, people jumped out of windows, and they never recovered. But the point is, they were taking the drugs to want to be like God. And like interdimensions and stuff. That's the weakness of human beings. We all want to be like God. And when you take a drug, you can feel like God. It's very dangerous stuff.
Fabian said that's why I can't remember anything anymore.
Yeah, Fabian said that's why I can't remember anything anymore.
My
memory's not so good either.
Yeah. So you want to get like to the Mike Tyson like punching?
Yes, thank you, man.
PCP is same each time, totally numbs everything in your mind too.
Yes. I don't know. I didn't take it, but I'm glad I didn't do it. I've taken other things, but I'm glad I didn't do those things. But Paul, you're really blessed not to have gotten on this road. You're way ahead of the game, because when I was your age, I was in the midst of going off the deep end, and I didn't know.
Yeah, like video games, movie. There's supplements for drugs, like, but yeah, I'm glad I didn't take those. I mean, yeah, drugs.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's things that we use for escape, you know, that you used and stuff like that. But at least you're not going in that direction, because
I'm glad. Thank God.
And you found kind of a spiritual path early, before I did, and before a lot of people did. So you're very fortunate to have found that.
Yeah, thank you, Dad, for helping me.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go into the Mike Tyson thing. I want you guys to look at this. The first video we're going to play here, we haven't really tried to post videos and comment them at the same time. It's kind of a new thing. So that should be interesting to do. So we're going to try to do that. But the first one is Mike Tyson.
Oh, yeah, Fabian, it's not. Yeah, we're. No, I wasn't. You didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah, you're good, Fabian, I think, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But Mike Tyson in an airplane, it happened about a week and a half ago, but I wanted to talk about it here before it gets too old, because there's stuff that I want to say about it, and hopefully you guys can see too what's going on here. So I want you to see this. He's in an airplane. A guy starts harassing him. Mike Tyson is trying to keep it cool, right? He's trying to be cool now. He's a weed smoking guy he doesn't want the beast to come out, right?
Yeah, that's sad. Oh, yeah, before you go into video, Fabian says I'm getting buffering for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know. It looks fine on my end. Maybe refresh, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. We may be a little weak in our our stream right now. I'm sorry if we are. We'll get it fixed by next week. Hopefully we can hold out tonight and it'll work okay. We will see what happens when we start adding video and see what happens here.
Yeah, but before you play a video, guys, if you have kids, I mean, they don't like all the major cussing is censored out, but they do like say like a little like the S word.
Well, we're not doing that one right now. We're doing the airplane one. When he's in the airplane sitting.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Because the airplane.
He says the S word. Like.
Oh, okay. Because we didn't edit that one.
Yeah, no, that one's not edited, but
okay,
the second one we edited.
You hear the S word, so if you got kids, be careful. I'm going to put something on. You're going to hear the S word and stuff like that.
Yeah, so hide your kids for like 2 seconds.
Hide your kids. Let's see what happens here when we put this in. And go.
This is George talking to Mike Tyson, bro. This shit crazy, bro. Mike Tyson.
So one guy is filming him on the other side. It's his friend, and this nutcase, whoever this guy is harassing Mike Tyson from behind his seat.
Yeah, look at Mike Tyson. He's like,
got lit, man. He over here rapping with Tyson. Mike Tyson trying to give us some shrooms.
He said Mike Tyson trying to give him some shrooms. Now I know the name shrooms from the old days. That's a short word for mushrooms, magic mushrooms. So I don't know if this guy is on magic mushrooms or something. I'm not saying he is. I don't know, but he might be on drugs right now. This guy.
He just to me he looks like one of those like those like internet those kind of like high profile YouTubers that like do things for clicks. He doesn't look like he's on drugs, but just like attention.
He looks like he's retarded or on drugs to me. All right.
You don't know how to act. Tyson looking out, man. This shit crazy. He should have never gave you his money.
Yeah, what made you think that's a good idea?
What's that?
No, I was just saying what he's like. Like you, what do you think? What he thought was like Mike Tyson wasn't gonna do anything.
He said peasants. I think this guy's on drugs. I really do.
Maybe.
Yeah, and guys, let us know if this video comes through okay too, because I hear Fabian's getting some buffering, so we'll see what's up.
Yeah, hopefully hopefully it's coming out.
All right. Watch this.
Hey, Mike, come on.
Mike Tyson was just in luckily for this guy, Mike Tyson was in a closed space, and he was punching this guy. He had enough of this character. Mm-hmm. I can't say I blame him. Obviously, you don't want to do that, especially if you're a person with money and fame. They'll go after you. But unfortunately. But he was punching this guy like this. So standing up, he's like hitting him like this.
Yeah, can you rewind a little bit?
This guy is very fortunate that Mike Tyson either didn't have more space or didn't use elbows on him. He could have finished this guy with elbows if he was doing some UFC type stuff.
What if he bit his ear off too? Like,
yeah, let me pull this back.
Call me a peasant now.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it back a little bit. All right.
See, he's like peasant.
Yeah, here we go.
Hey, Mike, come on. Let's go stop back. Let's lose the horse, man.
Yeah, he backed off quickly.
Yep, blue,
now his friend is going to show what he looks like afterwards.
See, like, why is he making this weird face?
I don't know. I wonder if he's making a play for, he didn't press charges.
He did not?
As far as I know, he has not pressed charges at this point.
Okay.
But he might have been making a play for some money from Mike Tyson. He wants to show that he got beat up. Why?
Yeah, because...
boy just got beat up by Mike Tyson. Turn that way.
Yeah, that's...
Up.
Just
trying to ask for an autograph, man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he's just trolling. He's trolling.
Yeah.
He's like...
We do have a problem these days with people who troll each other on the internet. And there's a lack of reality, I think, because you can get away with stuff trolling someone on the internet. You can troll Mike Tyson on the internet. But if you want to troll Mike Tyson in person, you have to deal with his fists.
Yeah,
you don't have
didn't
to
think about that.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with that on the internet. So it's quite insane what happened there. So I wanted you guys to see that and see that Mike Tyson, obviously, with all the money he has and the fame and the way that he's tried to overcome that beast inside of him, he's not able to do it yet. So I'm going to play the second video here. I'm going to go into the second video, which shows Mike Tyson speaking, and this was not recently, but I found this from earlier, and I haven't seen this video before, but he's talking to guys on a radio show who were interviewing him about what happened to Mike Tyson as a young man, and he's going to explain that here. So let me bring that on.
You're great, and you know you're a party. You gotta live in a condemned building.
No, that's right. Here we go.
Sometimes people can't take it, but people keep saying, you're great, and you know you're a poverty-stricken guy living in a condemned building with your family, begging for money and food with your family, and they don't see that, but wow, they don't know about this. I'm not great. They don't know these guys bullied me and sexually abused me and stuff. If I told.
Okay, you notice that Mike Tyson is talking to these two radio hosts, and he starts talking about people say you're great, but they don't realize I came from this horrible background, right? Which doesn't, he still would be a great, whatever, great fighter. It doesn't take away from that. But he thinks of himself as not great. And then he gets into this thing and says, people bothered me, but he got real quiet here. You notice how he got real quiet here?
Yeah, kind of.
He got real quiet, and then he said, I was sexually abused. I was bothered, and they sexually abused me. Listen to the beginning here. He talks, and then listen to how he goes down when he starts talking about what happened to him being sexually abused.
Sometimes people can't take it, but people keep saying, you're great, and you know you're a poverty-stricken guy living in a condemned building with your family, begging for money and food with your family, and they don't see that, but wow, they don't know about this. I'm not great. They don't know these guys bullied me and sexually abused me and stuff.
Yeah, so you see how he went down? He's trying to deal with it, and he's trying to admit and kind of come clean with what happened to him, but he's still embarrassed about it in a certain way. And if you can see his eyes closely, you'll see that he's not really looking at these guys at all while he's telling this.
But he's, I think, is he looking at the guy that's like sitting across from him?
Oh, yeah, maybe. There is a guy talking off screen. You're right about that. So maybe he's just talking to him about it because there is somebody off screen that we don't see. But he is embarrassed about it, and he talks about it very, very quietly because he's embarrassed. He's embarrassed to tell another man what happened to him when he was young. Yeah, Fabian said, I've been called a troll for simply disagreeing about the Trump praises. Yeah, we know. All right, anyway, let's go further into this, and you're going to hear these guys start to ask him about what happened to him.
I told them that. They think, oh, you need this or that. you know, you have these, you say, wow, these people don't know me, and you just know, you want your, the only thing that bothers you, want your demons, you don't know, it's really crazy, sick. This is a dangerous neighborhood to travel by yourself.
He said that he has a lot of demons. And he said, this is the kind of neighborhood that you don't want to travel by yourself. And he points to his inside of his own head. Very interesting. And at first when I heard it, I thought he meant his own neighborhood where he grew up. No. He's talking about the neighborhood in here. And he is trying to process this stuff. And it looks like he never really fully overcame it. And he's trying to kind of get it out and tell people about it.
How old were you when someone sexually abused you?
I was a little kid, 7.
7 years old.
And the person was were they your age, or they were like an
old man? Yeah.
Old man.
He was sexually abused at the age of 7. And I had talked about that in other blogs, that when I was 8 years old, I think around 8 years old, that happened to me with another boy. And it was quite embarrassing, and I never told it for the longest time because it was humiliating. When you tell people that, people judge you, and then, they whatever. It's a mean world out there. So, but there comes a point where you kind of feel like you have to get certain things out for your own sanity. Like he was saying, the inside here, it was something he couldn't really deal with. So he's trying to process it. He doesn't really want to get it out, but you can see him getting this stuff out in a setting here. And then we asked him, well, what happened? It was some old man did this to him when he was 7 years old. Fabian says he resents people putting him on a pedestal, I think. Yeah, that may be part of it as well.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's another side to it. True. All right. Two.
Yeah. Was it one time or ongoing?
No, one time.
Did you ever get him back?
No. No seeing him again.
Oh, it was just one of those random passerby things.
It's kind of, the guy didn't really know how to talk to him. He's like, it was one of those random passerby things. Kind of like as if that happens a lot or something. I don't know how often.
I think, then you're going to hear the guy say like awkward or something.
Yeah, it did sound kind of, I think the guy in the middle feels kind of awkward in the conversation. Like people are not used to having these kind of conversations.
Snatched me off the street.
Oh, really? You were walking and he just grabbed you?
Yeah.
And did he, besides he abused you and then just let you go, or did you escape?
Well, I ran,
Okay. I had another.
So he snatched him off the street.
Yeah, a guy snatched him off the street, some old guy, and then abused him sexually, and then he ran. I don't know how far the guy got or whatever. He doesn't get into that. It's funny because I remember when I had another situation when I was young, and something didn't happen to me, but a guy tried to do something. I was playing a basketball where I used to go to grammar school, and I was just shooting baskets myself. I used to just go like out play by myself, just shoot baskets and stuff. And it's kind of therapeutic, right? And so I was out there playing, and one guy showed up one time on a bicycle, an older guy, and he started talking to me. Next thing you know, he had me go buy some room somewhere.
What?
And I didn't go in the room. But
wait, how old were you? What did you say?
I was probably 9 or so. I don't know.
Wait, he had you buy a room? A kid?
No, not buy a room. He went in the schoolyard. There was like a milk room or something where he went over there by this room. I don't know if he's trying to get me in the room or something, but he opened the door and then he went in the room by himself. And I guess he was doing something, with himself, like a guy thing. And I'm like standing out there outside this room, like this guy's in there for a little while. I'm like, I'm out of here. I just like ran like hell, got my bike or whatever, and just got there. I never looked back. I never did see him come out of the room. But
right, like that's some strange. You had like, that's like this? Didn't you have like multiple people that try to do something?
Well, I saw another guy too. We used to hang out, I guess, at night.
What's with your neighborhood, Dad? Like, what?
I don't know. We hung out at night in places, and we were out late, and people would be out there drinking and stuff. This is like during the earlier 70s, I guess you'd say. But where I grew up near Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley, it was there was a lot of drugs and stuff out there at that time. So people were really, the 60s was like the generation where they started having free love and all that stuff and free sex.
Yeah.
And then the 70s was just, people were just going at it. It was just like, you watch a regular movie and you'll see like nudity on regular movies in the 70s.
Wow.
it was a very kind of strange, very sexual kind of decade. So that kind of stuff was not uncommon. Anyway, let me get back to this and finish this interview here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Awkward.
I didn't know that.
The way he just explained it was great, though, when he was talking about the inner demons, and he just said it's a dangerous neighborhood to travel by yourself and in your own head, and you're right. And you're just like it's a dark. Yeah, and you're by yourself all the time.
Did you tell anyone that?
Yeah, it was nobody's business to know, but certain people know I told. But it's just that that's when your ego is, which is the evil thing, is your friend. That's why
he's saying something about the ego now. That there's something in the ego, but you look at it as your friend, as a protection. You build an ego as a protection against other kinds of things that even seem worse. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what Tyson is starting to talk about right now. It's very, very interesting. Fabian said lots of pervs out there. He's talking about our ex-friend. And so many religious leaders like him who have fallen to adulteries. Yes.
Yeah, that's weird stuff.
Yes, it is true. The ego is at the center of all this stuff. And some of these people out there have been molested themselves. And they built up an ego around that, and they've gone on to attack other people. It's very unfortunate, but that's what people do. They are attacked, and we tend to attack and then be attacked. And I was mentioning to you guys the other day, we were having a conversation about you develop a personality where you feel like you're under attack, even when people aren't attacking you. So you kind of develop kind of a fight or flight syndrome where you're either going to run or you're going to fight. But you don't develop until you later find it through prayer and overcoming and things. You find a third way, which is just chill, just fight if you need to, but not out of anger, run if you need to, but not out of fear, kind of thing.
Right.
And that takes, Fabian says, I think Martin fell asleep. Well, I'm sorry we couldn't entertain you, Martin, if that's the case. How do we lose you?
He's probably doing his meditation.
Yeah, he must have started his 3-hour meditation. All right.
Sorry, Martin.
I guess you got to start early, and you can't listen to us peasants while you're praying. All right, I'm going to play back that slight part there where he's talking about the egos. Listen to.
Yeah, I didn't realize we're already 33 minutes in. We have to get to the Elon Musk. We're just talking. Yeah.
Hopefully, pick up my pace, but I want.
Sorry, guys.
I want you guys to hear him talk about the ego again because it's so interesting. I think that's about far enough back.
That's when your ego is, which is the evil thing, is your friend. That's why a bunch of entertainers have egos.
That's why entertainers have egos, he said.
It buffers their flaws, the demons. Right. Which is a demon itself.
Sure.
Said the ego buffers their demons, which is a demon itself. That's really deep, actually. Very deep.
He's like one of the first people I heard. Even Chris, I remember Chris Rock when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was on Chris Rock's side for the most part. Maybe he shouldn't have said the thing about alopecia. That's debatable, but we were on his side mostly on that. And but the thing is, I noticed that Chris Rock, even though I agree with how he handled it, yeah, I just noticed that he had an ego. But it was kind of buffering, how Mike Tyson said, it was buffering him. He's when he got slapped, you can see he kind of had the tears.
Yeah.
Is that I used to do that when I was younger. When I get hit or no, not even hit. When someone said something mean to me, and I wanted to kind of preserve my image, I would kind of do a little thing, make a joke.
Yeah.
Or you can see the hurt in his eye, but he had the ego is kind of buffering.
That's a good point because people have different ways of showing their ego.
Yeah.
Many comedians were bullied like Chris Rock was. And their way of overcoming the bullying was to make people laugh instead of coming at them and try to beat them up. So that becomes part of your personality to develop a joke thing as a way not to get beat up. Hey, yeah. Sergeant Francis said, I'm just enjoying the show. I haven't had any comments to make. Sorry that we joked about your 3-hour prayer, Martin.
Yeah, please forgive us.
Now I feel guilty. All right. Let me go into this. So Mike Tyson is almost there, in my opinion. He understands much more, I think, than the average person, or at least the average person is willing to admit. Let's take this further.
Yeah, I just read
the one that you're afraid of. You know, everybody else is afraid of your ego, but you're afraid your ego protecting you from the demon you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't tell anyone after that happened. You didn't just run out, or did you? Didn't obviously go to the cops, or did you?
No.
You just kind of.
No, I just went through my life.
Did you drastically change after that day?
I don't know if I did or not.
Did you drastically change after that day? He says, I don't know if I did or not.
That's honest.
And it is honest. I almost guarantee you that he did drastically change after that day. And he's been trying to overcome it to this day.
Yeah, he probably got like depressed more.
Yeah.
Or sad or something.
Well, yeah, you can be angry and then you can kind of dial it back in and it becomes like a depression, like a push down.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. Like how, like, because if he got touched when he was a kid, you kind of want to like, you kind of want to be like put on like a macho. Not saying that he's acting, but like you kind of want to be like overly macho to show that you're not into that.
Yes. Would you think that he considered himself an alpha?
Wait, who said that?
Mike Tyson.
Were you asking me?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh.
But yeah, you overdo it, right? You overdo it. You see a lot of that where people will overdo it in the macho department to overcome their sense of feeling like a woman or a girl, right? So
yeah, we know someone who's doing that.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel like that, so they often will put a covering over that to, to kind of push that side of them down. So ego, Fabian said, ego, evil, gone overboard. Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I've noticed everybody on earth has ego. I've never noticed any single person other than, I'm sure, Jesus Christ, who had no ego because he was doing his Father's will completely. But other than that, I've never met anybody in my life that hasn't had ego.
Yeah, and like people, even like shyness is an ego too, because like someone said it one day, like on a it was some video or something, and I was shy. I'm still shy, but like, but I didn't think of myself having a big ego, but when that person said shyness is ego, but just like the inverse of that, and it makes sense because they're saying like shyness is like it's like because you're afraid what people think of you. It's like all about you. Like you're afraid what they think. It's just like inverse of ego. It's the same thing though.
That's right. I noticed that in myself the other day. I was at a particular place and I like be a little bit shy about something and you're holding back. You don't want them to see certain things. So the shyness part, as you say, covers it up. I'm going to move a little quicker here because we've already gotten kind of far in and I haven't even finished Mike Tyson stuff. I definitely want to get to Elon Musk too, because we have people worshiping at the altar of Elon Musk. And I wanted to show some things here, but let's finish the Mike Tyson bit here. And it's almost done with this interview, but I forgot the last part he said, but he said something pretty interesting. But, Mike Tyson said he didn't know if he overcame it. That's an honest answer. If he doesn't know when it started, what happened, did he change? That was the question. Did he change at that point? He doesn't really know.
Is it something that you always remembered, or you kind of sometimes we block things out or we forget them, or what? We just
I don't know if we remember, but maybe I do, but I don't.
It's in there.
Yeah, I do, but I don't.
Right.
I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of anything from that perspective.
Yeah,
good for you, for real.
So he says. So he said. Oops, let me get this out of here. So he says. Maybe I remember, maybe I don't. You block things out. That is so true too. You don't often necessarily have the recall of certain things because you didn't want to remember them. So you're kind of pushing them to the background. And I've noticed in my life, things start kind of coming out and then something else comes out and then I remember something else. And it's kind of like you're pulling that.
Yeah, I remember you talking about
you're pulling that thing out like this. And one thing, and then you remember this, and then you remember this, and it's like one thing kind of leads to the next one.
Makes sense.
Okay, Martin wants to argue. I know, Martin, I knew you got to bring an argument in here.
Wait,
Jesus, he says, let's bring this up just for fun. Martin says, Jesus absolutely had an ego. He said, not my will, ego, but thy will be done. Well, that's a very good point, man.
Wait, I don't get it.
Well, Jesus said, it's not my will that I want done, but my Father's will. So in other words, he recognized that he had his own will to do certain things. Jesus did.
Wait, but I thought he was just saying, like, isn't that saying that he didn't have ego then? Because he's saying, like, it's not his will.
What he's saying is that he recognized he had a will, he had an ego, what he might have wanted to do.
Wait, how do we know that he was recognizing it? Isn't he just, like, saying he did?
Because he says, look, he says, this is what the quote was. Okay? He said, not my will, but thy will be done. Right?
I agree, but I don't know how that. I don't understand how that makes him, how he had an ego though. I don't.
Well, I'm saying he's admitting that he has his own will. He's saying not my will. If he had no will of his own, he wouldn't say not my will. He would just be totally locked into the Father, period, and he would have no desire to do anything on his own. So it appears that he did have an ego, but he was willing to lay his ego down, right, for our sake. And that's what it looks like we're supposed to do. We have an ego, but we should be willing to lay it down for others. That's the way I see it.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe I'm just not processing it. But I mean, if it's correct, I want to believe it. But I don't know. It's just I just don't think of like Jesus having an ego though.
I know. I don't think of it either. But I'm saying he made a good point here. So let's smoke on it.
Yeah, it is a good point.
Let's not toke on it because we'll get into trouble. But let's smoke on it.
Okay.
All right, smoke on it. People do this, toke on it like this, right? So let's smoke on it. All right. So, by the way, guys, if you like what you are seeing on here, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And if you like Paul and what you want to support what Paul's doing, you could.
Oh yeah,
Mind over energy.
Mind over energy. Space between each word, mind over energy. But that's like if you're into, I mean, I talk about spiritual stuff, but also I talk about like chi and like life force energy, and it's kind of like if you're into, I don't even know how to explain it really, but anyway.
Yes. I'm starting to get more people getting in now, and I do want to recognize. Wow, what happened here? I lost it here.
I don't know it. Wait.
Oh, somebody says. Haters in here. Well, there's always haters.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. But David said, I don't know if Jesus had an ego. Perhaps he was just making the statement as an example to the world. I don't know. It's an interesting point. I would have assumed he had no ego, but it may be an interesting. You know, when we don't know,
maybe we can have you guys on again. You guys,
if we don't know, we don't know. We're speculating. You know, I mean, the Holy Spirit didn't drop down on me and say he had an ego or didn't have an ego. So I don't know. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything else right here. We're going to move on, but I just want to make sure I got these comments, and we're going to move on quickly.
Interesting point, Martin and Fabian. That's okay.
Makes sense. Oh, somebody's saying I'm not a Christian. Well, thanks, Sonoma. That's really nice of you.
Wait, why did you say fuster? I don't know what a fuster is.
What's that?
I don't know what a fuster is. He said it makes sense as fuster isn't a
Christian. Father.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
I guess he was taking some shots and saying I'm not a Christian. So whatever.
Okay. Anyway, let's. You want to move on to like?
Yeah. Let's go to the other. Okay.
All right, Simona, we get you.
I think I'm going to dump her. Can I dump somebody who's just not making any?
Does it let you to? Because Simona, we allow people to disagree.
I'm going to put her in a timeout just for the heck of it. I mean, it's not like I don't want to hear people that have another point of view, but
they're clearly just trying to
name calling and all that. Okay, there's no need for that. So I put her out for 5 minutes. I put her in the corner and went, goodbye. You're out there. You're out of here. Yeah. Brian Pombo has joined us. He's saying, please. You mean please put her?
Talk about Elon Musk, I think. Please
put her in the corner. Is that what you're talking about? All right. Sonoma might be a guy. I thought it was a woman. I wasn't trying to make fun of him.
Yeah, let's get to the point.
All right, sorry. All right. Anyway, let me bring this topic 2, and I'm going to move through topic 2 a lot quicker than topic 1. We're having a lot of fun, but I'm going to move through because I want to talk about this. It's really important. Elon Musk. Okay. Elon Musk is in the news. Elon Musk is the patron saint of most conservatives, it seems like. Almost all my friends are telling me how brilliant he is. He's a very smart guy, and I agree with that. And what a visionary he is. Yes, I agree he's a visionary, but all visions are not from God, by the way. Ding.
Yeah.
And yes, he's done great things. His work ethic is crazy. I respect his work ethic to a point, and then I think he's just gone off the deep end. Some people are so into their work, it's everything about them. They neglect everything. I did that. I was too into my work. I had to apologize to Paul and my wife for being too into work and too into a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been into. And you can be into work as an escape. It can be another drug for you. So just because someone works hard, it does not mean that they're automatically, coming down from on high.
Yeah, and the people they like I won't say Roy Masters. I mean Elon Musk is the reason I like him. I guess because he's saying he took some shot at liberals and stuff. I mean that's not really that hard to do. I mean because he's like he bought Twitter, but like it's free for now. I even commented on someone else. I said it's free for now, but like we're gonna play the video on what he's into, but he's into like robots and stuff. And linking our brain with we're going to get into it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and look, I'm not taking away any good thing somebody does. Elon Musk buying Twitter, in my mind, it sounds like a good thing compared to the crazy leftist Twitter people that have been in charge of it. That's a given. And there's other things that I think that he's done that are good. But I'm going to tell you, that this guy is into some weird stuff. I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you. Okay. Yeah. This is a TED talk that he gave, Elon Musk. You can listen to what he says. If you think he's right on, God bless you. But I'm saying when I hear some of this stuff, I hear some stuff that ain't right. Okay. All right, here we go. Let me get it back.
Offer to buy Twitter. Why? It's important to the function of democracy. It's important to the function of the United States as a free country and many other countries, and to help freedom in the world more broadly than the U.S.
Which is great, and I think he means that, and he has a track record, and I think he does want freedom in that sense, and I applaud him for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to get it off there.
But I am curious about your views on China and the United States.
Now we're heading towards a situation where China is going to be probably have an economy 2 to 3 times the size of the United States, and so that's just a different world. But they haven't fully appreciated the fact that China really is going to be the big kid on the block. Other countries.
Clearly, Elon Musk wants into China's market. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to sell to China, that's fine. But he is going to be dependent on that market. It's a huge market, as he says it. And he also has some of these, I'm forgetting what it is now, but there's something made in China that he needs for his electric cars. And I'm forgetting what it is off the top of my head. But he's going to be, it looks like he's starting to kind of be soft on China, and that's going to probably continue. If you are for freedom.
Sorry. You got to delete Turkey, man. He's just trolling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just trolling. Must mean we're doing something right if we got trolls.
All right. So we got some Jesse people in there that are saying crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a chance to read it, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll read your comments, Fabian.
Yeah. Okay. So we blocked Turkey Man.
What kind of name is that?
Yeah, we must be doing something right? I noticed, by the way, that a lot of the Jesse people aren't friendly.
Hey, you said his name.
What? Well, it's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to hide Jesse's name. I'm just saying a lot of his people are not. They're not friendly people. They kind of belie the fact that they're supposed to be spiritual. But if someone says something that they don't like, they are attacked, and they're called, you know, all these certain stupid names that they bring for people, beta and this and that. Anyway, Elon Musk wants China. He wants the market of China. And it looks like he's going to go soft on China. So if you love freedom and go soft on China, you can't have it both ways. If you are soft on China, you're not pro-freedom, period. It doesn't work.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let me keep going.
Countries are not really a threat to you if you're by far the biggest kid on the block.
And do you think there will be basically, like in say 2050 or whatever, that like a robot in most homes is robots, what there will be, and people will
I think they probably
love them and count on them.
Yeah, you'll have your sort of buddy robot, probably. Yeah.
I mean, how much of a buddy do you how many applications do you thought is there? You know, can you have a romantic partner, a sex partner?
I mean,
a lot of
it's probably inevitable.
So he's saying people are going to have robot. Everyone's going to have a robot, and yeah, inevitable. People are going to use them as sex partners.
Yeah, but people didn't like that.
What's that?
Never mind.
Well, I got to say it. I mean, that's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I mean, we're not going.
Yeah, that's why I said never mind.
We're not going into details here. I'm just saying that, and I'm not saying that that's his purpose, is that people have sex partner robots. Okay. So, thank you, Fabian. You're blocking some crazy people.
Oh yeah, thanks, Fabian.
Who's aligned with Putin? You're saying Elon Musk is aligned with Putin now? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, it is easy to attack the left, by the way. There's a lot of people who make their bones in the conservative world by attacking the left because they're easy targets. They're obviously wrong. It's not hard to attack those people. Okay, let's continue.
I mean, I did promise the internet that I'd make cat girls. We could make a robot cat girl.
It could be a pretty rapid replacement of certain types of jobs. How worried should the world be about that?
Jobs.
I wouldn't worry about the sort of putting people out of a job thing. This really will be a world of abundance. Any goods and services will be available to anyone who wants them. That it'll be so cheap to have goods and services, it'll be ridiculous.
AI will make jobs kind of pointless.
AI will make jobs kind of pointless. Now, God said one of the first commandments God ever gave was, "Thou shalt work by the sweat of your brow."
Yeah.
Mankind has been going for the longest time trying to get out of work. And I know, Martin, you've talked to me about this before, and you had some good points, and I understand that to a point. You know, we don't have outhouses anymore for the most part. We have indoor plumbing, you know, and we drive cars and things like that. And some of these, we could say, well, these are good advancements. But if you get to the point where you're not doing any physical work at all, and you have a robot doing it for you, is that really where we should be going as a society?
Yeah, like WALL-E. Haven't you seen WALL-E? Like, there are a bunch of fat people on these like cheer thing floating around. They just have robots doing everything.
I should have dropped WALL-E in, Paul.
Yeah, like
the movie WALL-E. Yeah.
And he says some crazy. I don't know if we're gonna get to all of it, but like he says some crazy stuff. Like he wants our chips to be.
Yeah, well, let's keep going. Let's move through it as quick as we can, because this guy's got a lot of stuff here, and I want to make the whole point on this guy.
Probably the last job that will remain will be writing AI software, and then eventually the AI will just write its own software.
Okay, I had to stop on that. The last job will be writing AI software, and then at some point the AI will write its own software, therefore there will be no jobs. I mean, are we really going to follow this kind of thing? This is absolutely insane, and I don't hear hardly anybody talking about this because everyone's so happy. We're looking for such a victory because Brandon and these people are doing what they're doing, and we're just looking for a victory, and anywhere we get it, we're willing to like take it and then deify the person who's standing up. I'll give him credit for whatever he's doing, but if this guy is saying crazy stuff, you can't just be quiet about it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to keep going.
What happens when there is, no shortage of labor? That's why I think long term that there will need to be universal basic income. Yeah.
Yeah. Universal basic income, where the government gives you money every month and you sit back like a fool and don't do any work and have your robot doing your work for you. Is that what we want? By the way, the government's not giving you anything. Universal basic income is being paid by other people. This is insane. This guy is a nut. I'm sorry. He's doing some good things, but he is a nut. I don't care what anybody says. This guy's a nut. No, okay, good question, Brian. Here's his question. Okay, is Musk saying it's not showing up, unfortunately.
Yeah, it showed up.
Did it? Okay,
yeah.
I can't see it on the screen. Is Musk saying he supports it, or he's just predicting it? Musk is helping to bring this thing about. You can predict quite well when you're the one with all the money and the power to make it happen. All right, let me keep going here. Let me pull this off here.
Hey, Dad, kick another guy out. We're like the Terminators. We
got to get rid of somebody.
We're like Ghostbusters. We're like kicking everybody out.
Oh yeah, we can't call people like these kind of names on here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to block him. Sorry, bud. We got people that just go.
They tried it. He tried it.
All right, let me keep going. I want to get to this stuff, and I want to show you guys the evidence.
Yeah.
In your heart of hearts, do you really believe that you are helping deliver that exciting future for X and for others?
I mean, I'm trying my hardest to do so. I love humanity, and I think that we should fight for a good future for humanity, and I think we should be optimistic about the future and fight to make that optimistic future happen.
He's looking for applause.
I'm very confident about Tesla's future in China. The Chinese economy, I think, is going to do extremely well over the next decade, and will become the biggest economy in the world. And it's also committed to a sustainable energy future, and Tesla is doing both of those things.
Yeah, so he's talking about it like he supports it, not just predicting.
He's not going to say nothing about China. I can tell right now by the way he's talking that he's going to keep his mouth shut while China makes slaves out of the world. They're already doing it all over the world. Look at Africa right now. China is making Africa, there's slavery going on today. People talk about slavery back in the day. There's slavery going on right now from China in Africa. And there's slavery going on many places. And if we don't speak out against this kind of stuff, we're not pro-freedom people.
Amen.
All right.
We have some comments.
Yeah. These guys are talking back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Martin says, I don't think there's too much to worry about since battery life and power is not where it needs to be for a robot to function independently mobile. When that happens, we will have to revisit this show. Yeah, you better revisit it. They're going to look. You saw RoboCop with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You saw, or the Terminator. You saw RoboCop. They're figuring out how to fight wars now with robots. And when they come after you, they're not going to send someone to a human being to your door. Okay, they're going to send a robot. Because something that's expendable like a robot. AI is going to help take your freedom away. And what this guy's trying to do is he's afraid of AI, but he's trying to merge human beings with AI, which we haven't gotten to yet, but it's quite fascinating. Let me just try to finish this part of it.
Yeah. I think long term will be our biggest market, both where we make the most number of vehicles and where we have the most number of customers.
The obsession with truth is why I studied physics, because physics attempts to understand the truth of the universe.
And you see where things are going with virtual reality and augmented.
Listen to what he says about virtual reality. If you think this guy's playing with a full deck, he's in Saudi Arabia right now talking about where virtual reality is going.
Augmented reality, and if you extrapolate that out into the future with any rate of progress at all, then eventually those games will be indistinguishable from reality.
Okay, you won't be able to distinguish those virtual reality games from reality itself. And then he adds the cherry on top here.
They'll be so realistic, you will not be able to tell the difference between that game and the reality as we know it.
Okay.
Well, how do we know that that didn't happen in the past? and that we're not in one of those games ourselves.
Okay, Elon fanboys. So he thinks that he's not sure that we might be in a virtual reality game right now. Okay. All right, I'm gonna see if there's any other comments I missed here that we need to put up, and then I've got one more video here.
That's all you really need to know. You think, like, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, there could be, you know, some guy that loves freedom and everything we want, and could have a few screws loose. I mean, yeah, but like, this is not one of those guys. He's
okay.
Something's not quite right.
You're right, Paul. We don't necessarily need the other video because for now, maybe I'll play it on another show because I didn't even get to, we talked about robots replacing humanity. We talked about universal basic income. We didn't talk about two things from this guy that I'm just going to say them for now to kind of cut to the chase because we're getting a little.
But yeah, I know you want my window open so we have better connection, but.
Well, do what you got to do.
But there's bugs trying to get into my.
Yeah, do what you got to do. I didn't mean to pull the.
It's like I can literally hear him like banging into the window.
I didn't mean all that. I just meant the shades thing.
No, yeah.
That's fine. That's funny. We got our own.
Bug man.
We got internal things going on here. Let me just say a couple other things to you guys about this is just, and maybe I'll show this video another time because it's very interesting. But we didn't talk about two things that he's doing that are quite scary here as well. He's got a program called Neuralink, okay? And another video talks about it. What he's doing is he's taking the human brain, and because he's so afraid of AI, that AI is going to take over the planet, that he wants to link human beings with AI, right? You call it, and they call that transhumanism. He is a transhumanist. So he wants there to be operations on people where they can basically have these transmitters that go from their brain to the internet. So instead of you using your internet, your computer, or whatever you need, you're going to have all the information you need at your fingertips so you can compete with robots. So they're going to go do a operation on you. They go into your brain and put these transmitters in there so you can be hooked up to the internet.
Yeah, that sounds like some Mark of the Beast stuff to me.
We're following a guy who's saying, oh yeah, he says nice things. He might be open to Jesus Christ. And okay, you're trying to be God. I mean, they did the same thing in the Garden of Eden. It failed. They did the same thing in the Tower of Babel. It failed. You're going to have it happen again now where we have more and more technology. This guy's building a huge plant in Texas right now. Okay. What is he doing? He's building robotics, which are going to take away your jobs and end up with maybe no jobs, right?
Yeah.
And he's building these other things. So that's called Neuralink. That is where they're linking the human brain. You can look it up if you want. Look up Neuralink. Okay, it's real.
All right, I'll look it up.
Fabian said, Martin said, our number one enemy is China. We cannot fall behind AI military tech compared to China. Okay, Martin, why don't you yourself volunteer for the first Neuralink? So we're going to have you sit down and do an operation where someone drills into your brain and connects you to the internet.
Yeah, that's basically what Neuralink. Basically, what that's saying is, even if you want to say like, oh, he's just like saying that we can do this, but he's like playing around with stuff.
No. He's promoting it.
Okay.
He's putting money into it and promoting Neuralink. That's his baby.
That's even worse.
Right?
Yeah, like that. What he's telling you is that the God's creation that He made you is imperfect, and that we have to put a computer chip to fix.
Right.
That's what
our Holy Spirit is not enough to show us what we're not directed inner by our Holy Spirit enough to know what to do. We need to be connected to the stupid internet. Yeah. You really, with all the stuff that the internet tells you is true, you want to be connected to that? You'd be spouting off a bunch of garbage.
Be talking in code.
This is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Okay, one other thing. So Neuralink, that should be like a deal killer right there. If you think this guy is God, that should be a deal killer right there. Okay, I'm going to throw one more in. This guy has a program, and you guys might think this is great too, okay? This guy has a program called Starlink, okay? Starlink is a series of low-flying, satellites, And I understand that they've already used it, and I think used it maybe with mixed results in the Ukraine-Russia war.
Oh.
And it has some abilities which are probably good. I'm not knocking the whole thing of Starlink. But the idea of Starlink is going to be to have internet ability all over the globe, okay? Now, the internet is a great tool, obviously. But when you take anything and you spread it through the whole globe, all the surveillance that is being done by satellites and the internet will now be all over the world. You know, like Alex Jones has talked about a prison planet. You're going to have something in the long term, assuming it falls into evil hands, or already is in evil hands, that is going to be putting surveillance over the whole globe.
Yeah, that's scary. That's like imagine you're trying to hide, because this world, I mean, this system is going to crash at some point. You're going to want to get out of here. You're going to, like it says in Revelation, you're going to have to take a mark of the beast if you want to buy, sell, or trade. So you're going to have to, if you're a Christian, you're either going to, I guess, get captured or die or try to get out of there. So if you're trying to get out but you try to go to like some middle of the desert or some forest or somewhere, you can't escape because you're going to have some Starlink. He's saying it's just for internet, but like it could be used. Someone could easily take that over and you just like have a target coming down, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, I mean, evil tends to take almost everything over. There's very few things that are run by just good now, unless in smaller increments. But once something becomes big enough, it is usually just overcome by.
Yeah, they're not going to give that up. The system, like the left and it's beyond left and right at this point. It's like there's like a whole elite system. Like they love these technology. They love the satellites and stuff. They're going to hack that. They're not going to let any free person keep their satellites. They're going to take that over.
I agree. We need freedom. We need freedom more than ever. And we need people to act free and be free. And that's all levels, spiritually. And we can't just go with the last person that does something that we think is spectacular and all of a sudden forget everything that they're doing on the evil side and just block it out because they've done something good over here. It's crazy. And I'll give my friend Fabian, if he's still listening, credit. Yes, he's been pushing the thing on Trump. And I agree with him in a lot of cases on Trump. We have to be fair about stuff. Trump was a great president, for instance, on many levels. But he also let I can't even say the words here because they won't even let me on this platform. That's how much freedom we got. He let certain things happen with, what do you call these things? And he promoted these things, and they were killing people and injuring all sorts of people. And there's so much bad about it, but he's still promoting it. So we can see the good that Trump did on certain things and appreciate it. We can see the good that Elon Musk did and appreciate it. And we can see the things they're doing that are wrong. We can't just be like we're on a team. There's too much team playing here. And we could do a whole show on this. There's too much team playing. We can't just have like, oh, I'm on the right side, and you're not, and therefore I'm just going to go with that. That doesn't work. You have to be on the right side. That means the truth. That doesn't mean the side of Trump or Musk or whoever. It means the side of truth. When Trump wants to come to the truth and he does the truth, good for him. When Musk wants to come over to the truth, good for him. But we're not going to go over to them and just accept everything they do like they're gods. We got to wake up, people. Time to wake up. Anyway,
100%.
We talked about meditating, right? We talked about it on this show. We'll do more on this because I'm having very interesting conversations about prayer with my son Paul, and I learn a lot from him. He's learning some things from me. And
I didn't. Sorry,
I'm learning from you. Definitely too much team playing. Good point, Brian. I know that you are about this as well. Too much team playing. We got to be on the God team and the right team, and stop this stupid stuff that we're doing, worshiping at the feet of fallen, egotistical men. It's just got to stop.
Yeah, people are just hyped that he gave us Twitter, and Twitter is eventually gonna who knows what he's gonna do with that anyway.
Yeah,
try to inject us with some neural link just by using Twitter, like getting our passwords. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I don't know what they're going to do, but if somebody is nutty to begin with, how can we trust them with anything? I was going to join Twitter. Honestly, I got off it right away. When I started seeing the video, I didn't show it to you tonight, but I talked about some of it. I'm like, I'm not even going to do this because why do I want to even be part of this? I don't want to be part of this thing. I'm glad that we have the freedom and all that. Great. But anyway, if you want real freedom, pray, meditate. We'll be talking more as we go. We're never going to let meditation and prayer alone. We're always going to have it as part of what we do. We're going to come back next week, I think at the same time, if you guys don't mind. I personally like this time, but you guys can let me know and whatever about the time. But I like this particular time. So I want to come back and do different shows and show you guys different things about natural health, success, and freedom, particularly freedom right now.
Freedom.
Since freedom is so important, I want to do a lot of freedom stuff. But freedom never moves away from prayer. That's the first freedom. And we'll talk more about that. And like I say, I'm learning to be more simple about my prayer and about everything right now. And it's quite beautiful. And I think it's the one thing that has the chance to save us and make us better people. Along with truth, man, telling the truth about stuff. And don't just hold stuff back and say, oh, I'm not going to tell my vices or whatever. That's a bunch of nonsense. And that the people that say that are the ones that don't overcome their so-called vices.
Yeah.
It's really time to overcome people, and you got to come clean. Confess your sins ye to one another. I'm not saying everyone needs to do what I've done, put out certain things in kind of a big way, but in your own way, you need to tell the truth and confess your sins.
Yeah, like to
God. Go ahead.
Yeah, like to your family members, or or that's what like do you have to do it out loud, or you say it like to God, or both?
Well, you say it to God, and if it's appropriate, if you need to say it to somebody else, you say it. If you need to we need to forgive, or we need to get something off our chest, or whatever it is. Sometimes if you don't know, you just seek God and let him show you if you should say this or don't say it. But there are times where it's definitely appropriate to confess your sins.
Yeah.
Ye to one another, as it says in the Bible. All right, guys, your channel. You want to talk about?
Mind over energy. Spaces between mind over energy.
On YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not able to type it out, but you'll see me like in my channel, like in the if you go to certain of our videos, like what do you call it? How to pray, those videos and stuff, you'll see it in here. Oh, yeah. Ted, there is some wisdom needed about when to confess and when to. Yeah.
Thank you, Ted. I didn't see that because I'm not in the chat right this second. Thanks for bringing that up, Paul. There is wisdom needed, so I'm not telling people just to go out and say anything. Use wisdom as appropriate.
Yeah, everyone, like, God works for everyone. Like, there's just because my dad says things on blogs and stuff doesn't mean you have to. Or it could be just between you and God, or it could just it's the like you said, like timing, Yeah. Appropriate. Oh, thanks for putting the thing up there. So yeah, I just want to give a little I talk about spiritual stuff on that channel, but there's gonna be a lot of like I don't know how to explain it, like energy talk, like chi, and I don't know how else to explain it, like, but,
okay.
What would you call that? I don't know what to call it.
Energy, life force, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the natural energy that's in our body, stuff like that.
Yeah. So we're going to hear more about that from Paul as we move forward. Thank you, Paul.
Oh, thanks for having me on. This was cool.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Old School. Go to my website, oldschoolus.com. You see blogs, streams, podcasts, what have you. Natural health, success, and freedom. Also, if you like what we're doing, subscribe on YouTube and support us if you can. If you think this is a worthwhile show that we're doing, go to oldschoolus.com and make a one-time donation or a monthly donation. $5 or more if you can afford it, great, but $5 a month would help us a lot. So I think we're doing something that's useful. I don't think you're going to see this almost anywhere, and we're putting it out there. If you have something that you want to get some information to me, go to info@oldschoolus.com, and make sure I got all the comments and we're ready to roll. Thank you guys so
we
much.
cannot stop or avoid AI technology because the country that pursues it, such as China, will conquer us.
Yeah.
And he also says we are now between a rock and a hard place.
Okay, let me say something real quick to that, and I'm done.
Okay.
We can explore AI. I'm not against AI by itself. You start merging yourself, your brain with AI, no way. If you want to do that, go do it. I ain't doing it. It's crazy, it's insane, and there's no reason. There's no space race. There's no war that we have to win. There's nothing that we need to do that would force us into doing something that insane.
No, he was talking about I forgot to mention earlier. He said by AI he meant like what did he say?
Yeah, artificial intelligence. I get it. I'm just saying. Don't.
Yeah, but he wasn't talking about the thing in our brain. He was talking about like military stuff. Like
right. That's what I just said. AI. I'm not against AI necessarily by itself. But don't merge it with your own brain, people. Don't let people inject something into you to merge yourself with the internet. That's insane. If you learn nothing else tonight, please just use some wisdom, pray, seek God. A lot of times we talk about praying by meditating, being quiet. You can talk if you want to in prayer. That's up to you. But primarily, many of us have found that it makes a lot more sense to listen to what God's telling you and hear the Holy Spirit and connect with the Holy Spirit. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks, everyone, for being here.
I'm about to pass out. It was like I have a light shining on me.
Oh yeah,
windows are closed. It's like really hot in here.
Martin said you need your right side of your face is dark. So,
oh, you know why it is, right? Because the left side is liberal. That's why it's dark.
Whatever.
I was just kidding.
All right, we're gonna cut. We're out. We're leaving. And thanks Oops, I'm messing up here. Thanks everyone for being with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Fabian. Thank you, Brian.
All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We're out.